Hi folks, this is Russell Hughes from Hughes Realty Advisors. We are middle market specialists bringing Fortune 100 expertise to the middle market. Welcome back to another episode of Survival Theater. We're going to talk about some things in the go bag from last week and see how everything works. So these are some of the items we're going to be discussing today. We've got the Sawyer filter, the ubiquitous Sawyer filter that I always talk about. We're going to show you how to put it on a smart bottle and utilize that smart bottle as a carrying case. We've got the Silcock key, which I talked about last time, which is a good way to get water out of a commercial building. This is a CAT tourniquet. The most important thing with any tourniquet is to get the training to learn how to use them properly. There's those garbage bags that I always talk about, survival blankets, that is a lockpick set, lights, eye drops. This stuff with the MH on it is called Manuka honey. It is actually a honey that is incredible. It's just a miracle. That's an SOL, a little bivy sack emergency. That stuff is called Body Glide. Look it up. It is the most amazing thing ever. If you're going to be walking long distances, it is really important to have Body Glide or you will chafe very quickly. We're going to show you how to use a ferro rod and some of the different fire starting techniques. Sewing kits are always important for repairing things. Here's some gloves and trauma shear in case you have to administer first aid. And underlying this whole thing is something called a schmog, and we're going to go over that as well. It is a schmog is the do everything tool of the Middle East. So let's get started on some of this stuff. Thanks so much for joining us today. Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is fire. This is what's called a ferro rod. This is a company called Exotac. It comes with a striker right here, which is used to scrape the ferro rod. There's a coating on one side, and this is the shiny side. You need to get down underneath the coating for it to work. But this will throw sparks. It's got a combination. This rod is made out of magnesium and a couple other things that create spark. Here's your standard Bic lighter. I highly recommend those. And these are a couple alternative options. This is something called wet fire. I'm not going to show that getting lit up today. It's called wet fire, and these will do exactly what they say. They will start in the wet. This is something called fat rope, and what it is it's impregnated rope. And this you tear off a little piece, you spool it out a little bit, get the fibers undone, and it will light up very quickly. This is a bar of trioxylene. That is what military put in the MREs. Meals ready to eat to help cook them, but it also makes an amazing fire starter. This is comes out purple. I'm actually not going to unwrap this because once it's unwrapped, you kind of got to burn the whole thing. But these are two of my absolute favorites. This is fire cotton. All it is it's a cotton ball with a little bit of Vaseline on it. You just spread out the fibers a little bit, and as I'm going to show you in a minute, it will take a spark unbelievably fast. This is just a little bag of fatwood shavings that I've got right here, and I'll show you that as well. It will take spark unbelievably quickly. So let's get started on some showing you how the ferro rod works and spark off some of my favorite fire starters. Okay, so as we discussed earlier, this is a company called Exotac. This is one of their fire starters. This is the striker. This is the ferro rod itself. And all you do is you put the edge of the striker on the ferro rod, and it's that simple. So let me show you how it works. Again, this is fire cotton. This is just a cotton ball with some Vaseline on it. Let me show you how quickly it goes up. That quickly. So that was the fire cotton. That goes up really, really quickly. Helps get a fire started even in wet conditions. This stuff is called fatwood, and it can be found in any pine forest, although they also sell it on Amazon, which I do highly recommend. So this might be a little harder to start, but let me see if I can get this started. Okay, which is where your fire cotton comes in handy. Just take a little bit of fire cotton and you put it down there and you start that first, and then you put the fat wood over the top. And you see how quickly that fat wood takes on. That's got a bunch of sap in it, and it smells like turpentine, and it will burn. It will burn effectively, and it'll help you get a fire started in a very wet environment or any environment. The thing about fat wood is it burns a lot longer than fire cotton, so it'll help you get your bigger stuff started. Okay, so as I've mentioned a million times, this is the Sawyer Mini Filter. This is rated for 100,000 gallons, but how the heck does it work? When I use a smart water bottle, they're pretty much everywhere. Most water bottles will have this threaded top. Smart water bottles are 1 liter. You pick up your dirty water with this. You take your Sawyer filter, and it screws directly on to the smart water bottle. Then you pop this top, and you can drink directly through the water filter. Eventually, you will have to back flush these, but not for a very long time. And there's instructions that come with the filter, with a syringe to back filter or back flush them, and a little bag for carrying water as well. Cannot recommend these highly enough. They just work. There's also another alternative to the Sawyer filter, which is putting it in line with a water bladder. This side goes into your water bladder. The filter goes in line. There's a arrow on it that says flow, so you can't really screw it up. And then that's your mouthpiece that hangs out over your backpack, and you drink through. That way you can just fill up your water bladder with dirty water, drink through your water filter. Good. You've heard me mention these contractor bags several times. This is why. They're heavy plastic. They are huge. You can make an improvised, you can make a sleeping bag out of this. You can make a shelter out of this. You can make a poncho out of this. There's just a million different uses for these, and they're available at Lowe's, Walmart, Amazon, wherever. They are fantastic. This is the SOL bivy bag, emergency bag. It is a heavier material than the space blankets that you've seen that I've also got here. These are really helpful, but this is a whole different level. They're long enough, you can spread them out, and then you literally just climb inside of it. You will sweat profusely in these, but they will keep you alive on a cold night. So this is a mini lockpick kit. Comes with a tensioner and a different picks. Probably only need the Bogota pick. Please check your local laws. Some states allow you to have this, some states don't. You got to practice with these. There's tons of YouTube videos. Really, at the end of the day, this boils down to the ability to get into things that you might have forgotten the key for. So this is not about going and stealing from your neighbors. Do not use this for ill. But this is really good when you need to get into your own stuff and you've forgotten the key. So, really critical. This is a Silcock key. I mentioned it before. It's a 4-way key for getting water out of industrial buildings, commercial buildings. It's got a different, 4 different patterns depending on the size. They're all marked. And if you're in an urban environment and you need water, this is the key. This is a tourniquet. It's made by a company called CAT. It's got a windlass. It goes on like so, and then you tighten it up, and then you use the windlass to cut off the circulation. There's very few things in my kit that is more important than my tourniquets. If you need to stop bleeding, and it's bad enough that you need a tourniquet, you need a tourniquet right then and there. There's a lot of misinformation. There's a lot of old information regarding tourniquets, how long to keep them on, how long not to, nerve damage, stuff like that. Get some training. The Red Cross can train you on these. It's not that difficult, but you do need to know what you don't know. There is a 4-hour time limit on these, and but again, if you need to stop bleeding, there are very few things more effective than a tourniquet, and they will save lives. that's just it. They save lives. Last item is the Shmog. Now the Shmog has become a little bit of a joke because of television and movies, but really this thing is everything. It's huge. It can be a water filter. It can keep your head covered at night if you're cold. It can keep you covered from the sun. There's a reason why everyone in the Middle East has one of these. They actually carry them around, they use them, they carry them at all times. This is the do everything. You turn yourself into a ninja. I mean, there's all sorts of fun things you can do with this. But at the end of the day, you just put it around your neck, put it in your pack, boom. And then you look tactical. It's very important. Thanks so much for stopping by. This is Russell Hughes from Hughes Realty Advisors. We are middle market specialists. We bring Fortune 100 expertise to the middle market. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.